What's going on, guys? TTL here. Going to be going over my top four MLB picks for today. Today is August 19th, 2025. We've been on an absolute tear recently, so I highly recommend you guys go ahead and join VIP. I am extending the 33% discount for the rest of August. So you have until August 31st at midnight to use code AUG33 and get 33% off on VIP. The WAP link is in the pinned comment. I would do it as soon as possible though. I'm up personally over $4,500 over the past 2 weeks, and we swept the board again yesterday, just like we did like 2 days ago. And we just cashed so many different two picks. We cashed a four pick to cash out for 2.7K. And then this morning we actually cashed a 3 unit like 2.4x over on Underdog as well on League of Legends. So I'm doing esports, WNBA, MLB, NFL starts really soon. So I highly recommend joining VIP, guys. And I do want to give a huge shout out real quick before we get into the actual picks of the video to predictiveprofits.ai. So this is a website I created, and if you don't want to sign up for VIP, that's fine. Sign up to predictiveprofits.ai. It makes doing your own research just that much quicker. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's up almost 1,000 units on just the betting predictor, which is sports books like money line spreads, that kind of thing. And then the prop predictor is what we use in all these videos. And it just makes the research process so much quicker. It runs 10,000 simulations for every single prop and gives us a projected hit rate based on those simulations. And they use all the data. It's not just looking at odds and comparing them. It's not that type of thing. This is a research tool that uses data. It uses all of the data for every single prop, every single player, the teams they're playing against, playing with, if people are out, all of that information. And it puts it all into the simulations, runs them, and then gives us the projected hit rate. But use code TTL50, get half off on predictiveprofits.ai, and let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. As always, playing over on Underdog, use code TTL and get up to $1,000 matched on your first deposit. But starting off, we're going to go ahead and take Ohtani under 1.5 hits. This is a prop where this is a very weird prop because we're getting a full payout on this. Typically, for a 1.5 hit line, it's going to be like a 0.7x on the under. Now this is Ohtani, and he is versus the Rockies, but under 1.5 hits for a full payout is just a no-brainer in my books. So we can go ahead and take a look at predictiveprofits.ai and take a look at why we like this prop for today. So starting us off, let's take a look. We can see Ohtani total hits 1.5. The under has went under in 72.77% of those simulations. So a 72.7% projected hit rate on the under here. And we can see he's went under this in 5 straight games. He's went under this in 7 of his last 10, and he's went under this in 71.5% of games this season. 88 of 123. So we have him projected for 1.09 hits in today's matchup. We expect him just to get the one hit, even versus the Rockies. And I actually, on the sportsbook side of things, have the Rockies under game total at 12.5. So this game, I have this game total under 12.5. So this actually pairs very well with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and lock in Ohtani on the under 1.5 hits. Next up, we're going to take Eduardo Rodriguez versus the Guardians over 5.5 hits allowed. Now, this is another one where we can get a full payout for this, and it just doesn't make sense. So when we head over to Predictive Profits, we can see Eduardo Rodriguez. There's actually 2 props that have over a 70% projected hit rate, and we can get a full payout on either one of these. But we're going to take his over 5.5 hits allowed. If you want to take his under 17.5 pitching outs, that's fine as well. Hopefully the Guardians can score some runs on him, get him pulled after he gives up 6 hits. But we can see it's a 71.2% projected hit rate here. And when we look at his stats, he's went over this in 5 straight games with an average of 6.4. Over his last 10, he's went over in 8 of 10 with an average of 6.7. And we can see in 2025, he's went over in 15 of 21 games, a 71.4% hit rate this season on over 5.5 hits allowed, and an average of 6.5 hits allowed per game, which is actually very close to what we have him projected for. The average throughout the 10,000 simulations was 6.42 hits allowed. So we have him projected for between 6 and 7 hits allowed in today's matchup. Last season, it was 50-50, but all of them were 4+ hits allowed per game, and he still averaged 5.6. Now this season, obviously, we're going to have recency bias. He has went over in 8 of his last 10, in 5 of his last 5, and 71.4% this season. So I'm going to go ahead and take over on Eduardo Rodriguez, especially versus the Guardians batters. Next up, we're going to take Merrill Kelly for the Rangers, and we're going to take his under 2.5 earned runs allowed. Now, this is again a full payout. This is versus the Royals, and when we take a look at this prop, we can see Merrill Kelly earned runs allowed at 2.5. The under has a projected hit rate of just over 70%, a 70.2% projected hit rate. And we can see he's went under this in 4 of his last 5. The one game he went over was versus the Phillies, and I'll give it to him. That the Phillies have good batters. That makes sense. Over his last 10, he's went under in 7 of 10. 2 of these were 0.5 overs, and this was versus the Orioles and versus the Mariners. Now, I will say this one says he went over, but it says the Orioles had 0 runs. So I think this is a mistake. Either the 3 earned runs allowed is a mistake, or the 0 for Baltimore is a mistake. But I'll have to take a look at that in a moment. But 7 of his last 10, he's went under. And this season, he's played 25 games and went under in 17 of those. A 68% hit rate. So I'm loving this. He's averaging 2.2 this season, averaging 2.1 over his last 10, and 2.2 over his last 5. And we have him projected for 2.15. Now, he doesn't have too much BVP data versus the Guardians batters. Now, 2 of these batters, Nolan Jones and Austin Hedges, actually have a ton of data versus him, 10 at-bats and 13 at-bats respectively. But for the rest, he just doesn't have much data. Austin Hedges has 0 hits in 10 at-bats, which is just beautiful. And then Nolan Jones has 2 hits in 13 at-bats with a .214 OBP and a 38.5% strikeout rate, which is beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and take Merrill Kelly under 2.5 earned runs allowed. And our 4th and final prop of the day is going to be Mitch Keller over 3.5 strikeouts. Now, this is versus the Blue Jays, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you the Blue Jays ranked number 1 in least amount of strikeouts per game this season. I'm still loving this prop. When we take a look at Mitch Keller here, we can see this is a 67% projected hit rate. This is my least favorite prop of the day in the free picks, but I still love this prop. We're getting a full payout for this, and I think that's just a little too much. When we take a look, strikeouts at 3.5, the over 67% projected hit rate. He's went over in 3 of his last 5. 2 of these games he missed were by 0.5, and it was versus the Giants and versus the Reds. He's averaging 4 strikeouts over his last 5. Over his last 10, he's averaging 4.4. And we can continue to see he's went over in 7 of 10, and the 3 he went under were all 3 by 0.5. Now this season, he's averaging 4.5. And he only has 1 game this entire season where he missed, and it was by more than 0.5. 17 of 25 games this season, he's went over a 68% actual hit rate this season, which is very close to his projected hit rate. But he's going an average of 5.6 innings pitched per game. And if he goes 5-6 innings versus the Blue Jays, I do expect him to be able to get over this number, especially when we look at, although it is a low sample size, the Blue Jays batters, where we can see Kirk with a 50% strikeout rate. Jimenez, 33.3. Bichette, 33.3. Varsho, 40. Schneider, 33.3. Like plenty of these batters have a decent strikeout rate versus Mitch Keller. And we have him projected for almost 4.5 in today's matchup. I'm going to take this over 3.5 number, especially when we're getting a full payout for this. And we can take this 4 pick for a 10x. You can take any variation of the 3 picks. If you want to just cut out Mitch Keller and do the top 3, that's fine. You get a 6x for that. Or if you just want to mix and match, make some 2 picks, you're going to get 3x for all of those 2 picks. So make sure you guys go sign up to Underdog using code TTL. Get your match up to $1,000 in bonus funds. And don't forget code AUG33 for 33% off your first purchase of VIP. And guys, you can use that on the yearly. So you'll get $100 off on a yearly subscription to VIP. And I'm telling you right now, we're like a 6-month profit streak right now. Hopefully we can just keep that going. And hopefully we can just profit every single month going forward for the rest of this year. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. And oh, don't forget, you can use code TTL50 on predictiveprofits.ai as well. And that was the last plug, I promise. But go join the free Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And let's go 4-0. Let's sweep the board again today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.